With Samoa Joe officially being released from WWE, many are curious as to why the Samoan submission machine never won either of the top prizes during his time in World Wrestling Entertainment. He was a major star in TNA and Ring of Honor, and when we look at some of his most famous rivals in those promotions, they have all won main event gold in the House of McMahon, leaving many fans to wonder whatever happened to the submission specialist. So without further ado, here are 7 reasons why WWE never pushed Samoa Joe. TNA. Vince McMahon has a reputation for keeping wrestlers who made it big somewhere else from fully making it in WWE. While there are exceptions to the rule, for the most part, this is believed to be done in order to make WWE look like the superior promotion. While some companies might make it big by siphoning off of the star power from former WWE stars, Vince McMahon has taken a lot of top-tier talent from other places and kept them at bay, with the mentality that if a wrestler was a top dog in another promotion but can't escape the mid-card in WWE, then that must mean that World Wrestling Entertainment is that much better. And no matter how much this might aggravate some fans, Joe might just be yet another victim. NXT. Rumor has it that yet another reason why Joe was never pushed was because he was never supposed to be from the start. There are claims that when Joe first signed with NXT in 2015, he was only brought in as a seasoned veteran in order to help out the new guys. Remember, at this time, NXT was still viewed as developmental, despite having many well-versed talents already on the roster, but I digress. The point is that according to those statements, Joe was just meant to be a solid hand in NXT, but impressed everyone so much that he eventually made it onto the main roster. And if that's the case, he actually got more out of his time in WWE than he was ever supposed to. Previously in WWE, Joe's friction with WWE might have began before a lot of people think, as many have forgotten that he appeared on WWF television in 2001 on an episode of Jacked. When he was just starting out, Joe met both Bruce Pritchard and Jim Ross, and was told that he had no future in professional wrestling. And while good old JR is no longer with WWE, Pritchard still is, and he has a pretty powerful position in the company, being called up to head creative after Samoa Joe was already brought onto the main roster. So while things have definitely changed a lot over the past 20 years, it still does raise suspicion when a shot caller was against you right from the start. Size. Going even beyond Pritchard, Vince McMahon has mostly handled men of a certain physique like less than gold, with many great big men never quite reaching the top. And while yes, there are of course exceptions to this rule as well, it should surprise no one to say that WWE definitely prefers towering meat castles as opposed to those of Joe's ilk. Rocky relationship. It has been often speculated that a major reason why WWE continues to push Nia Jax despite her many issues is because of her family ties to the great one, The Rock. And as the Anoa'i family has always been a major part of WWE, Samoa Joe on the other hand doesn't share those ties that bind. It's not the years, it's the miles. While Samoa Joe has spent a lot of years in the business and is definitely closer to his last match than his first, he's really not that old. However, age may be nothing but a number in this case, as Joe's real issue seems to be that he's become quite injury prone. WWE has had a hard time keeping him off the shelf. Every time he gets a little bit of momentum, he ends up going back on the DL. However, perhaps it isn't just his injuries that's the problem. Tyson Kidd. While accidents do unfortunately happen in professional wrestling, it's important to remember that Tyson Kidd and his match with Samoa Joe would be his last ever. So while injuries may occur, permanently hurting someone is not something that's easy to forget, whether or not it was 100% Joe's fault. And as far as WWE management is concerned, and when it comes to thinking about which wrestlers need to get pushed, having a career-ending match on your resume probably isn't something that WWE wants hanging around their main event, with some even going as far as saying that they want the Muscle Buster to be banned as a move. Hopefully Samoa Joe can turn it all around. If he's medically cleared and stays safe, he no doubt has the stuff to put on at least a few more memorable matches. And if not, he's also proven that he has a place as a commentator. So whether it's behind a desk or in the ring, if he puts his heart into it, Joe is gonna thrill you.